we've talked about how speaking constitutional language at people and expecting it to accomplish something is a fruitless effort in a lot of cases for people who haven't read it, don't pay attention to it, who don't even understand it or haven't really lived thinking through those things. Andy talked about the limitations of the way certain people think and how it's not linear and it's not a thought process that goes from A to B to C. So obviously doing the things that, say, Tea Party has been doing about constitutional education are great for understanding where we are and knowing that we have to argue for certain principles and things. But they're not good for communicating to other people who are apolitical, who are unengaged, who are very little engaged. Andy's often said that between now and the presidential election in 2016, this is our prime opportunity to talk to people about preparing the ground, to do a lot of the work that the candidates can later benefit from, but that we can't go in and wait until the beginning of 2016 to start working. We have to start now. We have a whole extra half year that we could be talking to people about issues that resonate with them, issues that the candidates can then later pick up on and connect back with those people once we've prepared the ground. Have I stated that right, Andy? Is that the way that you've been thinking about it?
Absolutely. Right now it's time to prepare the ground. And by the way, like JD was saying, yeah, you don't want to, I was talking more if you're talking to somebody who's a little bit more politically oriented. But right now we're talking about preparing the ground more with the apolitical and reaching a lot of people who are apolitical, maybe left-leaning. And in that case, this isn't a time to beat people up with better arguments. It's a time to take down walls so that you're not rushing in the last 4 months between an election trying to beat people up with better arguments. If you take down walls now, and actually a lot of times don't even give your argument, but create a thirst in them to want to know more from you because you're not always shoving it down their throats, then you're going to make a lot more impact.
So the question that occurred to me a few weeks ago when we first started talking through this is, how do we help people get practice on issues that they're maybe not used to talking about? The conservative base tends to be very good at talking about certain issues. We are winning on the right on guns and abortion, and while we could do better on both of those are still very solidly winning issues for us. But there are other issues that have more broad relevance or more broad appeal that we can be mining and using to steal people who have been left-washed, who are apolitical, but they have, Hollywood influences, or they have news influences, media influences, academic influences, whatever. We can start to plant seeds in people with issues that maybe conservatives haven't talked much about, but that can establish those connections. And so we've been brainstorming some different topics, and one of the easy ones I think that we could find was feeding ordinances. Now, some people may not know, but certain cities have started banning or fining people who go into the inner city and feed homeless people due to certain regulations they're writing. And there are any number of reasons why that they state, and then there are any number of reasons why that you could surmise from the way it's being done. But feeding the homeless is an issue that people from Occupy can resonate with, people on the left can resonate with, and certainly people in the middle can resonate with. And so what they see when they hear about a feeding ordinance and it's approached properly to them is a bunch of bureaucratic nonsense on one side and hungry people on the other. We've talked about how to become better storytellers. This is one thing I think we can focus on. It's got broad appeal. It has easy cases to know and understand examples. It has human faces and stories that you can put with the conversation, and it's a very easy open. And so what we're going to do for the next little bit is try to work through some ways to talk about the feeding ordinance using specific stories. The way that I think this should work for a person who's considering picking up a new topic to talk about is familiarize yourself with the details of several stories that are making your point in the category that you're looking for, and we will do that, and then figure out how to make an opening of that, summarize that case so that you are able to talk about it quickly, and then to decide whether to close, how to open the discussion, and then whether to close with a conservative tag somewhere in there so that your ideas are tagged with conservatism. The whole point is attempting to get away from the use of the labels conservative, Republican, whatever, and talk issues with people that our candidates, again, can come back and pick up later and brand later if need be as them caring about those things too. But not to start with the platform and the branding, to start with human stories that touch people.
He posited that in the world of today, the Bill of Rights would never ever pass. The debate that happened in the Continental Congress around the Bill of Rights, we would never even be able to have that kind of debate today.